Welcome to Conscious Living Collective, transformative journey in consciousness with community of like-minded people. My name is Tomek. I'm a teacher here on Inside Timer, scientist, and transformational coach. In these live events, we blend the latest in scientific research, the deep wisdom of mindfulness, and the art of fulfilled living. As always, this is an invitation for you to have your own first-hand direct experience and emerge on the other side, hopefully with a renewed sense of purpose and well-being. Welcome to today's session. I'm very glad to see you here. And as always, there's no Conscious Living Collective with the community of like-minded, wonderful, wonderful individuals. That is you. And I want to acknowledge that right here at the start by welcoming my also supportive members of Patreon program that has been holding the space for all of us, actually, not just for me, but all of us for the past couple of years. So, who I see? Hello, Parvane. Hello, Seth. Hello, Diane. Hello, V. Very good to see you here. I also want to welcome all the regulars. Hello, Anne. Hello, Karen. Good to see you here. And I'm always glad to see first-timers. So, Vanessa, particularly warm welcome to you. If there are more of you who are joining for the first time, please do raise your hand because I would like to extend my particularly warm welcome and welcome you to this community. Whether you only passing by or you choose to stay, that is entirely up to you. Regardless, I'm very glad that you are here. Alison, I almost missed you. I almost missed your presence here. I can see mostly icons with pictures, and Allison is just I just got an A grade. Allison A grade. It's a big capital A. Very good to be here. Very good to see you here. So today, I want to begin our session by saying that today it's a culmination of 3 sessions during which we were considering topics of elemental balance and kind of bringing a bit of science and esoteric, something that ancient traditions relied on to because they didn't have the scientific understanding. They used scientific method to some extent, but I think the result of it was mostly a limited understanding of the structure of the world. However, that limited understanding gave rise to much deeper understanding, intuitive understanding of things, not physical. And I think that's why I bring it on board. And I want to make sure that all of you understand what is happening. So, this is the last of the 3 events. And if you wish to revisit the previous ones or re-listen to what we were talking about, feel free to go to my YouTube channel. All of the live events, all of the sessions of CLC are recorded there and stored for future purpose and for you to use bits and pieces that you may want to revisit, leave a comment or whatever. So in event 1, we saw my aim was to point out to the elemental imbalances that we all experience in our life. That's what human experience is. Human experience is a moving to the left and to the right out of the mid-balance line. That's what it is. And we are not here to change it. We are here to understand that very dynamic. And in the second event last week, we were talking specifically of the 2 elements of fire and water, because these elements are the kind of, they are polarities. You understand? The fire and water represent metaphorically and to some extent, as I try to explain the science behind it, physically, the imbalance, the polarity, something that happens within our body that we try to look at and once again understand. Today, we arrive, and arguably the most difficult but also the most important aspect of what these 2 sessions were leading up to, arriving at the underlying principle that brings it all together and underlying at the same time the elemental balance and all the elements, which is awareness. And when I say awareness, the term is one I will use, but in the other traditions, you may find different terms describing what I'm trying to present here, and most importantly, what I will invite you to experience, have the first-hand experience of it. Some people talk about akasha. Some people talk about a field of consciousness. Some people refer to it as God. But again, that understanding, I'm not going to use that because I think in the I avoid most of the time religious connotations, not because they are wrong, certainly they're not, but I think they, in a sense, limit the scope of our approach. And if anything, I always want to make sure that you have your own personal experience that goes beyond the realms of the mind and intellect, which, in a sense, I invite myself to as well. So this is the reason why I am very careful about using any religious terms. The terms I use are limiting, quite frankly. The language I use is limiting. So for those of you who are joining for the first time, once again, Vanessa and Alison, very good to see you here. At the end of the session, about halfway through, we will jump into meditation in which I will guide you to have your own first-hand experience and see what I mean by all these words that are coming out of my mouth. The words are only a pointer. The words are only, I see myself just pointing a finger in a direction. And please do not look at my finger. Look at the direction in which finger is pointing. And that direction, how you're going to get there is entirely up to you. And quite frankly, all of us, we have all unique individual ways based on our experiences and our who we are, how to get there. So my promise is you can get there, and it's important that you do, but I will not take you there. You are the vehicle of consciousness. Your physical body is an expression of awareness, of consciousness, of a larger field of bioenergy field, and we could talk about science of it. But today, it's bringing all the work that we did over the past two sessions, the effort that we make to recognize the balance, to point out what is it, how to take the balance, simply to arrive at that point, that underlying principle of awareness itself, from which all the elements and the entire balance float out of. This is the important thing. That's what non-dual teachers point towards in non-dual awareness. Sometimes scientists particularly talk about choiceless awareness. And we could talk about it for as long as I want to, but only direct experience can help you not again to understand, but to see for yourself. This is not intellectual understanding. This is only first-hand experience. And there's a bit of science behind trying to understand consciousness. Scientists, like myself, try to understand consciousness. And when I say understand consciousness, I already fail, because because consciousness is not an intellectual thing. So I will use today a metaphor that hopefully many of you are familiar with. And I will ask you right now to raise your hand, virtual, and in a comment section, if you have watched movie Matrix. I think it was 99. The first one, only the first one. Wachowski brothers or sisters or whichever they choose to be right now. They continuously evolve. Yeah, Parvana, Anne. Yeah, Tiffany. Yeah, Diane. V. Vanessa. Fantastic. So I'm guessing Allison. Good. And the only way, I think the best way that most of the teachers try to convey certain concepts is through using metaphors. I remember I come from a Christian background, and Bible, the best teachings were those with the parables. That they were not describing the actual event, but basically using your understanding of certain concepts as to point out towards something, and you may stumble upon the truth yourself. And Matrix is this phenomenal, many people say it's not a movie, it's a documentary, that hits the nail on the head when it comes to understanding of awareness. So Neo, the main character, is in Matrix, but he has a sense. He has a sense. He doesn't know what it is. He has a sense that there's such thing as Matrix, and he has no clue what that is. But he has a deep sense and deep intuition that something happening within him. He cannot stop thinking about it. And this is, as you look around, this is very accurate, I dare say, description of what is happening to us and how we relate to the awareness. So we are right now, in one form or another, we are in the Matrix. We're making decisions. We're feeling our feelings. We have our emotions. And all this happens in awareness. And that awareness is extending that metaphor, the Matrix. And most of us, as Neo did, they tired, they struggle. They're trying to understand. They manipulate the concept this way, that way, financially, economically, relationship-wise. And in order to feel good, to make their life worthwhile. However, what persists in most of us, if you are here, there's that underlying understanding. There's something more. That we are not there's something more, but maybe we are not getting the full picture. And there are those, and I want to be, in this particular instance where you gather in front of a screen, one of those people, but certainly not the only one, who wants to point out a finger. And that person for Neo is Morpheus. Morpheus is that person who experienced himself, this is a very important thing, experience himself the nature of awareness and coming down to recognize how important it is to recognize the nature of awareness. And not because being in awareness is better, but awareness defines the quality of our life in Matrix. The only time when we're getting out of the Matrix, or we will permanently, it's at the time of our death. But there's a much time before that happens. And there's a reason why we're here and interacting within this physical world that allows us a tremendous thing to achieve. And I'm going to jump a bit forward in the metaphor of Matrix, where Neo finally understands what Matrix is. And when he comes back, he can perform those things that normal people cannot. Can really understand what the Matrix is, and that allow him to live life very differently. If you remember, when he comes back to Matrix, knowing what Matrix is, he can do a lot of different things. And by the way, this is just metaphor, because in Hollywood we like the fighting, we like the explosions, and that's why the Hollywood movies, they represent something that underneath this metaphor, it's something much more important. And the importance of it is that going to awareness, understanding awareness, spending time in awareness is important because it allows us to live our life much more consciously, much more fulfilled, joyful when we decide to get out and come back. All those elemental balances I was talking about, the polarities, they no longer are a struggle, a challenge. They simply are rules of the game that you can apply using your intellect, using your understanding to your benefit and benefit of those around you. But you're no longer fighting it. You're no longer using the fire and water polarity. You no longer see fire having burning qualities or water having dumping qualities. They all there for you to work with and to utilize them. And when you start utilizing, coming back from a perspective of awareness, all those things, you start having more fun. Life becomes more fulfilling. And the challenges become more joyful because you're no longer resisting them. You know that ultimately this is just a construct that, by the way, is not only created by you, it's created by all of us, from which you can get out of. And this is the important thing. And if you remember, I think metaphor that is used a million times by different spiritual teachers and not even spiritual teachers, but teachers in general. When Morpheus offers Neo the blue pill and the red pill. I really like, Wachowski brothers did tremendously good job with cinematography of that. They really bring if you look at the elements of it and the details, it's really an important choice. However, because of Hollywood, and the structure of the movies, it's presented to larger audience. They make that metaphor very simple. If you choose one pill, you're going to get out. If you choose other one, you will stay in the matrix. You forget everything. You will continue literally living the life you do right now. You like it, you don't like it, whatever. It's going to stay the same. And this is I think Wachowski brothers were not able to really make it any clearer because they use the concept that is always used in Hollywood. There's a one point and one choice after which everything changes. You are healed. You are successful. You just made $1 million. Sorry, these days we have to make $1 billion. It seems like $1 million is not enough money. Let's say $1 billion, after which you can finally settle down. Or you find a perfect partner. You find a perfect job. You find a perfect community. You have perfect health. You have perfect body. And the list goes on and on. After which you finally arrived. You took the pill fixed your life, and you arrived there by effort or by striving, but the job is finally done. You get out, and you never have to look at it again. And this is the mistake, particularly in the perspective of us working with awareness. Because, and this is the twist, choosing the blue pill versus red pill, I don't even know which one was the one that took you out of matrix. Choosing the one that points you towards awareness, it's not a one-time thing. It's a continuous effort that all of us, every single of us, as we sit here, we have to make for the rest of our life and beyond. Awareness is a choice that we continuously make. And what I mean by that, and when we make that choice, our lives dramatically improves, by the way. And I give you an example. I went to Bali not so long ago. Some of you may already share with you my experiences from Bali. It was kind of a personal retreat with a very rigid structure because I wanted to make it this way to not be distracted. And I put a tremendous effort to work on the elemental balances that I spoke to you about, to recognize the my red beard as a fire element basically being overwhelmingly in excess in me, and I tried to cool it down with a bit of water and ground it in earth and combine it all with the earth element. And I did it on the intellectual level. I did through practice, and I saw change. I was spending a lot of time being present in awareness, and I saw tremendous change in the quality of my life. And once again, this is not the first time that happened. I decided, yes, I got it. At least I'm on a good path. I came back home, and other challenges appeared. One of them, my mom being in hospital, and us with my sister trying to deal with a health condition. And all of a sudden, the effort that became for 2.5 weeks such important of my daily routine, or being in my awareness, being in my conscience, being my effort was going there. It's kind of disappeared. But what disappeared with it was the quality of life as well, that I thought I already got it. And that's why I want to extend a metaphor. The choice that Morpheus gives Neo, choosing red pill over the blue pill, or blue pill over the red pill. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting which one is which. It's something that we do on a daily basis continuously. It is becoming easier to make this choice once you tasted the kind of what Matrix is all about. But nevertheless, it's a choice that we all have to do it. And part of this choice today is you being here and us meditating together, which will happen in a moment. But it is a continuous choice. And for those of us who make enough effort, this choice will be very easy over time. It's like riding a bike. You no longer have to think about it. You only think when you're out of balance, when you're out of awareness, because you see, something is missing. And you're like, yeah, okay. So coming back to the metaphor of Matrix and Neo coming out of Matrix. Awareness is the matrix that from which everything is being derived. So our experience, as in case of Neo, when he was still dreaming, he recognized that he has the choice and he has ability and power and ability to decide what happens in the matrix. And when he finally left Matrix and saw all of the wasteland, which again, in the metaphor, in the Matrix metaphor, the world that outside of Matrix is a wasteland, but in actually it's a wonderful, wonderful place from which everything arrives, everything is being derived. When he comes back, he's much more conscious. And that part applies 100%, actually much more than it happens in the movie. Because you not only have better ability to make choices, but these choices become much easier because you are no longer bothered. If someone steps on your toes, metaphorically or literally, you see that your awareness, that didn't change anything about you outside of the matrix. The awareness is the unchanging principle. Doesn't matter what is your experience. Awareness is the underlying unchanging principle. You are not being hurt. You are not dying. You cannot die, in a sense. You're only experiencing. All of this is experience. And now we sometimes dream and forget that this is only an experience. And this is the major problem. And I'm sure that many of you right now look at me, you're presenting yet another metaphor and tell me to forget, about paying bills and my relationship situation. And this is real for me. And I'm telling you, do not forget about it. You won't be able. I'm simply asking you that this is not the only vantage point from which you can approach things. That's why we are here. That's why you are here, most importantly. You didn't come to Insight Timer because I know what's the reason to be here, outside of the fact that we're looking for something that is outside of our current frame of understanding and current experience. I don't believe that people are coming here for no reason, that you are here for no reason at all. The reason might be unconscious, like in Neos, you don't know, you cannot put fingers on it, but you are here. And maybe the most important part of our Conscious Living Collective and this session is for you to figure out why. But when you figure it out, the journey begins. That's not the end of the journey. This is it. Getting out of the matrix is not the end of the journey. It's the beginning of it. And the movie, the metaphor of the movie Matrix puts it very, very accurately. Neo's life does not end when he gets out of the matrix. It begins. And so it's my invitation to you. Why you need to consider all these things that we talk about during Conscious Living Collective, because that allows your life to start anew. That's what all the teachers and all the traditions, whether it's religious traditions, scientific traditions, they ask you to wake up. To wake up and don't change the world around you, but look at this world from different perspective, with different eyes. Because that's what it's all about. It's not about escaping the matrix. It's about transcending it and using it in a way that always meant to be used. As a playground, as a school, as an experience. Not as something that it's a punishment or suffering or unnecessary evil. And there's a God looking at you and judging you. Not at all. Not at all. But I know how difficult or how easy it is to forget. Because, let's face it, the experiences that we have as a collective, as a humanity, they are not wonderful. The situation is not peachy. On the contrary, there's a war, there's environmental distraction. It seems like we don't get it sorted out. And no AI, no disclosure and aliens coming and telling you what to do. They're not going to change anything in your life. You are the only one. You are the only one who can get out of Matrix and see it for yourself. Nobody can do it for you. There might be people next to you who do it, and they can tell you and can tell you, yeah, it's good. Well, it's better. It's really, my life changed, or all these things that you want to hear. But ultimately, it's always up to you. That's why when we jump in a moment to meditation, I will not ask you to follow me, to look at my finger that it's pointing towards something, but to take the leap outside for yourself and see for yourself. Because the only thing, I think that's one of the strongest lines that Morpheus delivers to Neo. It's, I only offer the truth. And for many people, when they see the truth, they feel shaken, as Neo did. He wanted to go back. He wanted to go back and say, no, I don't accept that. I don't want to see. I want to go back to where I was, because that was familiar. The roadblocks that our brain, our mind throws at us are tremendously difficult to overcome. That's why we come here together. That's why we come here to work on this together, because this is another thing that I think Matrix not makes it a major point of it, but remember that in Matrix they work as a team. There's not just a single person. Once you get out, you need to recognize that you're not in this alone. And I mentioned that many times in our sessions, that we come here together because together we are stronger. There's a good reason for that. Hey, T. Yeah, T says T needs metaphors. Good. Okay, I thought I missed something. So maybe give me a thumbs up or raise your hand if what I'm talking about is something that you resonate with. I'll be curious to know, just by the raise of hands, if there's at least some aspects of what I'm talking about kind of resonates. Jeffrey, thank you. Ree, thank you so much. Or even better, Seth, Allison, Dahlia. Or if you have any comments or questions with respect to what I said, because your experience is so important. Yeah, T, I 100% agree. Life is much harder when you think you are alone, when you consider that this is just a solitary experience. Yeah, I'm just tuning in. Parvana trying to understand. I understand this is something, and for those of you who are listening, I am with you on this one. I'm certainly not beyond or looking from the sidelines. We are taking this journey together. I am in the process of figuring out. So if Parvana says, I'm trying to understand, so am I. And I'm not trying to be cute here. I make a lot of effort to try to figure it out because my sense is it's well worthwhile. And once I figure out more the part of the awareness part, the other aspects may be a bit easier to figure it out. Yeah, thank you, Parvan, and thank you for being here. Yeah, so thank you for your feedback. I really hope that this helps. And I'm using the popular metaphors because I think they speak. There's a reason why those movies are so popular, because people are attracted to them. Most of the people are attracted to movies because the action, because it's basically the dopamine. It's flowing through your circuits when you see all the fast-paced action. But for some of us, we receive the message. Receive the messages that are beyond the layer of just fun. Seth, I really like the film, but never saw it this way. It's a wonderful analysis. Yeah, Seth, thank you. I'm very glad that I get the chance to point out towards a different facet of this movie. Next week, we will consider American Beauty. Another movie that I think I mentioned to you. I'm not going to talk about it in detail, but American Beauty was one of those movies that I watched and I liked it very much. I didn't know why. And I watched it many years later from perspective of having, I think, 10 years of meditation behind my belt. And when I looked at it, I was absolutely blown away by the deeper layer of this movie. But yeah, that's just me. Yeah, Parvana says, I agree. I'm going to watch it again now. I think it would be very, very interesting for you, having now this information, to watch Matrix again and see if you'll be able to see it slightly differently. Be very curious to know. Tiffany has a question. How do we deal with the inner critic that says resting in awareness means our serious problems won't be addressed? This is a great, amazing question. Thank you, Tiffany, for bringing that up, because the inner critic, and I'll bring science to it. And science, again, that comes from the awareness, the way I understand it. The inner critic, it's a derivative of what we science call default mode network, which is the part of, or the network in your brain that has the quality of self-reference. It's self-referential. So it's a part of your brain, a system in your brain, not part of your brain, but a system in your brain that continuously reinforces the self and continuously compares your current situation with other stories. And particularly in these days, your story will always fall behind the other stories, because let's face it, social media and what you see on TV, it always presents itself. It's always better with what you experience. Again, and I'm talking about you can feel better, have better health, you can look better, you can have more money, you can have more possessions, you have more friends, better partners, and so on and so forth. But remember, this is the nature of the inner critic. Its job is not to tell you the truth, but to contribute to the story that is already in your head. And remember, that story is not truth. It's not truthful. And science is very clear about it. Your brain, your inner critic, does not care about the truth. It cares, and I spoke about it during the one-hour events, it cares about the consistency of the story. That's its job, not to tell you the truth. That's why it's so difficult. That's why most of the teachers and the instructions that you will receive today, because of the awareness, is do not react to the inner critic. Just observe it. Because inner critic arrives from awareness as well. And when you understand that, it's a basically derivative of a misused system that arrived millions and millions of years ago to protect you. Now it's simply a smoke alarm that's a bit too sensitive. That's what inner critic is. You have a smoke alarm that tries to protect you from fire, right? So when the fire arrives at home, when the fire happens at home, it's going to tell you, get out. But the smoke alarm that the inner critic it represents is this smoke alarm that is so sensitive that you, even when you light up a candle, it's going to turn on and tells you, my goodness, something terrible happens. It's just a candle. No, get out, something terrible happens. So that's what inner critic is. And that's why we, with awareness, it's out of balance. See, we're talking about the mental balance. So I hopefully that addresses your very good question, Tiffany. Thank you so much for asking it. Watching The Matrix has changed for me depending on my life experiences, Diane. Thank you for sharing that. And we have a deeper understanding of what you're talking about. So thank you. That's so important. All right. There's much to say about it. But as I said, big part of our session, all of you, it's almost 100 of us here. I'm so glad. Is to put all these fancy words into practice, because the job is done. And we've been doing hard work during the first two sessions, the session 1 and session 2. During session 3, we just sit back and observe all these balances unfolding in front of our eyes, recognizing that we'll be invited to notice that which has been aware of every emotion and thought and undisturbed by any of them the entire time. We are invited to get out of the matrix and see every emotion, every thought, every experience as happening in the matrix, but not being entirely who we are. Because who we are is awareness. I will play for you Peter Helland as a background for our exploration. As always, I give A big round of applause to Peter Helen for creating such a insightful, wonderful music. I will switch us to the meditation screen. That signifies that we jumped into the meditation part of our session. Are you ready? Begin this meditation by making yourself very comfortable. The reason why you want to address the physical aspect of your comfort at the start is to recognize that your experience is important. Your comfort is important, and you have the ability of changing it. Your physical comfort obviously is not the only layer of experience in this meditation, but we start here to make sure that we can go deeper without being distracted. We try to be practical. We are not trying to say that meditation solves everything. Meditation is here to shed a more truthful light on our experience. A light that is not limited to our beliefs, the thoughts that will arrive, even sensations, our past experiences, our projection into the future. There's more. And what I invite you to do today is to recognize that all of the above, they happen in awareness. So when you close your eyes and limit the input of the information that comes through your physical senses, through your vision, through your hearing, through senses of smell and taste and touch, you start recognizing that other things arise. And the main question that addresses this on the level of the intellect is, who is the experiencer? Where does the experience come from? In the absence of sight, in the absence of smell, taste, when focus is not on touch or even sound, what does it leave us with? Who is experiencing it? Is it any particular part of your body that gives rise to this experience? Does your experience happen in your brain, in your heart, in any part of your body? who is watching the experiencer. And consider this. Everything that arises for you right now might be different to the person meditating next to you. But it is yours and is unique. See what happens when you allow the experience to arise as is, without trying to talk about it in your head, without trying to describe it. But simply consider that whatever arises can arise without you trying to control it. Whatever arises has its validity, but does not need to be manipulated, changed, described. You are the one who is observing. You are the source from which everything that you experience arises. Harmony, balance, fulfillment, joy. They all arise. Stay for a moment, and they disappear. The awareness in which all these experiences happen has always been there. When you felt good, it was there. When you felt bad, it was there. Happy, sad, joyful, fulfilled, sad. It's been always there. And you simply begin paying attention to it as the underlying principle of all of your experience. Choiceless awareness. You no longer need to control and make choices, make effort to restore the balance, to move to the left or to the right. You simply can sit back and see the unfolding of the experience in the awareness that is you. And right now, will allow you to be with yourself for the next few minutes as you explore on your own, but surrounded by like-minded awarenesses, and me holding the space for you so you feel safe, and I will bring you back when the time is up. And now, recognize that you can apply the same awareness that you rested in, the same awareness from which all the experience until now arised. You simply can shift it and control it, applying it to what your body knows the best, which is physical sensations, your vision, your hearing, taste and smell, touch. Feel and experience what is awareness when applied to your physical senses in a way that you find the most enjoyable right now. Perhaps is experiencing the sound of music. Perhaps feeling your feet on the floor, your hands in your lap. Also many different experiences that are available for you in awareness. The only thing you have to quote unquote do is to move into that experience with your awareness. That's your choice. I personally choose to experience gratitude for your presence, for this experience, for our togetherness, for you allowing me to convey these words, to communicate with you, to connect with you. Now, to conclude, simply take one deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And mindfully, in awareness, open your eyes and welcome back. Thank you so much for staying in awareness with me. I don't call it meditation. It was experiencing awareness firsthand. And I'm curious to know, how did it go for you? In one word, or a few words, if you will. And as you share your experience, I just want to say that I felt lost for words at some point. It seemed like words become so unimportant in the moments of the connection that I had to make a lot of effort to bring the words to you, because I understand I facilitate this experience in awareness, but it was tough. It was tough. So thank you so much for being here with me, for co-creating the space in which our experience could arise. That was truly wonderful. Thank you, Karen. Thank you for your support and your generosity. Anything else that you wish to share? Thank you, Anne. Vanessa was clarifying. I'm glad. Remember that the journey continues. The only difference, hopefully, is that you will have an ability to shift and to understand that whatever you're experiencing is something that you have ability to see differently. Again, from a different vantage point. That's the only difference. The world around you won't change. There'll be the same politicians, the same geopolitical conditions. It's simply you'll be able to look at them hopefully differently. And that how you look at it makes all the difference. So right now, I simply want to thank you once again for being here with me. I want to invite you to next week session. I'll be for the next couple of days. I will be on with my partner. We go on a retreat. So I will be intentionally spending much more time in awareness, and I will inform you what effect it will have on my experience. So this is what we'll be talking about next week. So if you wish to stay connected, simply go to my profile and see me there, or contact me through there. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you for your support. And feeling expansive. Again, expansive means you understand, you see more of the same. Not see more of the same, but see the same things from different perspective. Thank you, Seth. Thank you, Maddie. I'm glad that you enjoy my guidance and music, by the way. Big thanks to Peter Helland. Find him on Inside Timer. He's a musician here. Thank you, Parvana. Thank you, Karen. And thank you all. I will leave you with his music because I agree it's very lovely, very soothing. Look forward to connecting with you next time.